Bridget and Tim. We are going to be doing a little bit of a recording for you today and do our best. I've got a grumpy baby that has woken up way too early and who has a little bit of an injury happening. It's, yeah, not our day. But I'm going to do my best to record a little bit of Cookidoo and its uses for you guys and how you can utilize it to make sure you're organising your week, but more than that, you are saving time, you're saving your sanity, saving your money, not over shopping at the grocery store, and depending on if you like to or not, maybe not actually having to even go in and do grocery shopping with our online ordering system. So I'm gonna quickly whip up a risotto because I need to cook a side for dinner, and I'm just going to show you how to do that. Why not? Because I've got all the ingredients anyway. And then I'm going to go over to Cookidoo in the screen there, and this one is going to want the cupcakes that I'm cooking for my children's school and kinder tomorrow. So there's going to be a little bit of whining in the background. So bear with me. I'm going to put this down onto the Thermomix. So what I've done is, I will show you what I've done actually. I'm going to save this recipe to cook today. So the 3 little dots, my finger's got a bit of oil on it, so it's not working. There we go. Okay. So actually we'll do 3 dots. No, all right, for some reason it's not working today. We'll do it this way. We're going to swipe across. So from the main screen, we actually have access to Cookidoo on the screen. What you have to do is swipe, and you can see I've just searched here mushroom risotto. Now you'll see recipes have TM6 in brackets, some of them if you do your own little searches, and that's because certain recipes only can be done in the TM6 because of its special functions as additions that have been added onto it that other models didn't have. So I'm going to open the mushroom risotto. Yes, Bubby. She wants me to stop talking. And I'm going to tweak this. Like I've said, I'm going to use up what we've got in our fridge. Yes, Luna. So I'm going to throw in, turmeric and garlic and a bunch of greens and stuff to use up. Luna, hang on, honey. So the first step, and I won't be very clear to you on the screen there, but it actually is to put Parmesan cheese in and to grate that up. So much better for you to grate from a block, but I'm going to skip that altogether, and I'm just going to select the step that I want to start on and touch that from that main first screen of a recipe. So now it's calling for some shallots or brown onion, and I'm going to have to put the baby down just to get this sorted. But we'll see how, look, you guys can always put this on fast forward if there's chunks in here that are not worthwhile. So wherever my chopping board has gone, where has it gone? Oh, it's in there. Okay, it's all right. I'm going to do it on the sink. Mummy, put you down for a second. Oh, what's in the oven? Much. Yeah. Good girl. All right, so I'm going to cut that off. She was asleep, so I was thinking I wouldn't need to have all of this prepped to record, but here we are. All right, so it says 30 grams. I'm going to put in about 60, and that's totally fine. You can make these recipes what you want, but I'm also, because it's saying just to put the lid on now, I'm also going to pop in some garlic and a little bit of turmeric as well. I might probably half that of turmeric. And my knife doing on the ink, but so be it. All right, so 2 cloves of garlic. All right, so these recipes are a guide, and you do not have to stick to them. They are there to kind of give you some inspiration, but of course, if you know how to cook and you know what you're doing and you know what flavors work for you and your family, then just do what works for you. I know, honey. Now, that did around on speed 5. Typically for me and my children, yes, honey, hold on. Where's your food? You go get your carrot. Typically for my kids, that's not, that's too chunky a chop still, okay? But just to give you an idea, that's what the recipe says. So again, instead of doing that normal step, what I would always do is go to 5 and then just take out 7. So I've just given it an extra second on 6.5. Again, all of these speeds will make sense to you when you've got your own Thermomix. It is just really hard to explain, obviously, until you've got one, what speed does what, but that I'm much happier with. Don't put your head over the bowl because your eyes will like water profusely. You can usually avoid that, so no more crying when chopping onions. Now, it calls for our butter. So cold butter going in for the risotto. So if you've made a risotto from scratch before, you'll kind of know these steps. You'll know what to do. I had never made a risotto until owning a Thermomix because I just thought it was way too hard. Instead of olive oil, I'm actually going to use coconut oil because that's what I've got. And again, you can adjust these quantities. If it's too much oil and fat for you, and by all means, just reduce it, and that's okay. And we're going to cook it with our basket on just to let some steam come out. Let Mum have the basket. There we go. So that's going to do just a little bit of a saute for a moment. I'm going to show you what we've got going on here and what else I'm going to add in. Each guided recipe also has tips and variations at the bottom of the recipe when you first open it, like you saw me, scroll to the step. So you can, get a bit of an idea, but if you are wanting to do some specific substitutions and things and you're not sure, you can always reach out to a consultant as well. So what I'm going to be doing, so instead of using just water and our vegetable stock paste, which we make in the Thermomix from scratch, you're never having to buy stock again. Instead of doing that, I'm actually going to add in some of my own bone broth here, which is nice jelly consistency. So you can just play with liquid. So I'm going to pretty much use that as my fundamental liquid. I will probably add a little bit of this veggie stock paste as well, just for that flavour and that salt, a little bit of extra salt content. But I'm also just going to be adding, so I've got no mushrooms, but I'm going to add some frozen peas, some frozen spinach, and I'm probably going to cut up a little bit of leftover zucchini as well. So it's going to be very green, but it's pretty much the side for the kids. So they've got their protein and their other stuff going on. And my kids will still eat it and pick it, especially my son. So, you could add chicken, you can add bacon, you can add, whatever you guys like. There's different types of risottos on Cookidoo as well, like pumpkin and bacon and a verde, and they've got chicken. There's all different types of risottos that you can use as a base and just tweak flavors and add things, take things out based on your preference as well. So that's that. Now, as you've seen me do, all of the things on the dial, which I'll go back down to here, we've got 3 circles on our main screen, as well as obviously in the guided recipes, they come up. So essentially you're looking at your time, your temperature, and your speed. You can adjust any of these even mid-cook as well with this guided cooking. So I could increase the speed a little bit here if I wanted to, get a bit more of a stir happening, change my temperatures, all of that sort of stuff. And you can also change if you want it to be going around in reverse or not. So really awesome if you are, manually, if you're cooking things that you want to stay a little bit chunkier, you can do that at any time. The reverse basically means the blade's going around on the blunt side. So you've got kind of all of that access to, make it your own, like I said. A couple of other features as well I've got you for 30 seconds is our lights turn red when the stainless steel bowl's heated up. So that's really hot to touch now. So it's really good for kids as well. It is like the safest, it's the timer for my cupcakes. It is the safest possible way to cook with children, I believe, because stovetops with saucepans and things can just fall and burn, and hot liquids and all that sort of stuff. So for me, I like to get my kids in the kitchen and teach them as much about food as possible. And so this is like an easy way too, and just letting them know that visual as well. It's rare, you can't touch this. My kids have never really tried to, because it's all kind of contained and it can't, they can't take it out. The bowl is locked, the lid is locked in place. So it's just good to know that safety is there. Now I've got my rice. Where did I put that? Kitchen's a little bit of a mess at the moment. Lots of baking going on, and I'm going to go take these muffin cupcakes out of the oven. So the scales, if you can see, you might have just caught the top of it there. The scales automatically come up in the steps when you're going through the recipe as well. So you don't need measuring cups. You don't need anything else. You're literally just pouring straight in. And you don't have to have extra dishes to do. Yeah, honey. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I just need to put this on again, and it's going to do my high temperature mode. So again, it's just going to, it's toasting the rice right now. So it's just going to that little bit higher temperature than what it probably would have, even just sweating the onions. Hey, Bubby, what do you want in it? Give me some water. So while that's doing its thing for 3 minutes, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to get my cupcakes out, and I'm going to come back on in just a moment. So rice has been toasted, and I'm just going to add in a couple of other liquids and things. So instead of white wine, I'm just going to use a little bit of apple cider vinegar. You want to generally make sure that your liquids are pretty much still like the same ratio if you're substituting. So I'm not going to put in 60 grams of apple cider vinegar because that would be just way too much, but I'm just going to add slightly more when it comes to the whatever it's called, bone broth. Could not think of it. So yeah, that's another 2 minutes. Again, most of the time the cooking times are a little bit more extended. You'll have like sort of one saute step. Risotto is obviously a little bit different, but in these 2 minutes you can tidy up, you can put things away, and that's sort of what I've been doing, getting the cupcakes out. So I've got like 50 odd cupcakes to ice. All right, so the next thing I will just bring up Cookidoo in a moment. What have we got time-wise? Oh no, there's about 2 minutes there. So what I will do now is I'm going to just talk through maybe a couple more of these accessories and things just so you understand what they are and you've seen them, because I don't think you've actually been to a demo before. And then we'll go into Cookidoo after the next step. The next one's the longest one. So the main, mine's been broken and well loved, but this is the main steaming unit. So you've got a steaming basket, which actually goes inside the bowl as well. So really great for steaming kind of longer cook time things as well. So I often fill that with like potato and like do a mashed potato or something like that. But yeah, potato or sweet potato or something like that in the bowl steaming. And then this one goes on top of here. And you fill this with all the different, obviously, proteins and vegetables and whatnot. You can actually fit a whole chicken inside this roamer as well. It looks maybe deceiving. So you can take out in a tray and just fill the actual dish. The tray is just typically there. It's like a shallower sort of section with a lid on that you can do kind of quicker cook times. So like, you know, asparagus and beans and things like that, or put your proteins on there as well. So that is kind of how you steam. So, you know, if you eat a lot of healthy kind of steamed veggies and steamed proteins and things like that, the Thermomix is definitely for you. Even if you don't and you're still using your barbecue, obviously you can use this to make up sides like you're saying you do, make up lots of salads and different things as well. So it just depends on how you're eating. And I know that, Bridget, you told me you guys do just eat a lot of simple foods like meat and salads and veggies and stuff like that. So I'm trying to show you kind of what you guys might use it for. Now I'm just going to give the bowl a little bit of a scrape here. You get this fantastic spatula with your purchase as well. So it's $2,589 for the Thermomix, a TM6 model. But with that, you get 6 months free subscription of Cookidoo. And currently, for only $29 extra, you can get a whole nother bowl. Now, you've seen my bowl that I've been whipping up cupcake batter with, gone straight on to having a risotto. Like, it's really hard to explain unless you've got a Thermomix how beneficial a second bowl is. But let me tell you, it's just so useful, whether it is going from a main dish to a dessert, whether it's going from, you know, milling something where you need a really dry bowl that you need to add to a dish that you're making, you know, whether you're making lasagna and you do your bechamel in one and you do your bolognese in another. Like, it's so incredibly handy having two bowls. Yeah, a bit hard to describe. Now, this is the vegetable stock paste. So, like I said, I will add that in. Doesn't look great, I'm sure, but this is literally just leftover veggies that maybe I just have about a day of life left that I either keep in the freezer. Yeah, hang on, honey. Keep in the freezer ready to make another batch of this, or just, you know, I notice I've got a lot in there and I kind of just chuck it in, and basically you just adding herbs and spices and your veggies, blending it up with your salt, and you've got veggie stock paste, and it's so simple. And more of us probably should be making that kind of stuff from scratch. You know, obviously, if we had time and if we had something helping us like a Thermomix, we would. So, putting in just over probably 2 teaspoons of that, and then we're going to put in our stock. So instead of the mushrooms now, I'm probably going to just add, I'm not even going to add the peas yet, I'm going to add them towards the end, so because I don't have as long of a cook time. The water, as I said, is just some of this lamb bone broth, which is very jelly. So I'm going to pour that straight in. My scales will come up, so I know exactly how much I need. Hopefully this doesn't sound too unappealing to you guys. We try and focus on gut healing a lot in our household for a number of different reasons, but mostly because I've got an autoimmune condition as well. And I have been slack with making my bone broth since being in Queensland, I must say, because it's just too hot to have things on cooking for longer periods of time. I don't know. So I'm going to use all of that, which was literally just under where I need it to be. So I'm going to add a little bit of my filtered water as well, just a tiny bit, just so we've got, here we go. And, you know, play with consistencies too, like everyone maybe likes risotto and things in a different way. Sometimes what I find with these recipes, because they're all developed by a lot of chefs and things, they're usually cooking the rice al dente. So if it's a little bit too just undercooked for your liking, or just, you know, obviously it's on the verge, it is cooked, but they like it textured, just give it that extra 2 minutes of time as well. So you can have restaurant quality food, or you can, you know, just make things a little bit more easy and palatable for kids and whatnot. So that's going on. I'm just going to reduce the time so it beeps and tells me when to add in some of my zucchini and stuff that I'll just peel into strips. And I'm going to show you Cookidoo. So, over there for now. I'm in quite limited space. So I'm going to bring it open and just show you. Log in. For some reason it's logged out. Okay, so sharing my screen. I'm hoping to God that you guys can see this when the recording is played back. So, low battery. All right, this is what the main screen looks like. You will personalize this so that if you go over to your profile, your account setup, so that it shows things that are more, you know, related to how you like to eat and your family likes to eat, and it will give you a little For You tab. You also have themes that are kind of like, hard to explain, I guess categories or, you know, types of cooking and things like that, which you can learn a lot from here as well. So it's really good to browse for inspiration for meals. But you can also just scroll on the main screen here and look at what's been most cooked. Lots of drinking happening obviously over the weekend. So it's always updated Cookidoo based on how the customers use it. That's what they kind of show and what you guys are sort of after as well. So definitely rating recipes is a really, really important kind of thing to do, just so that it shows you more of what you really like. So if you're giving recipes 5 stars, then you're going to get more of that back for you. So, and they're going to put energy into developing more of those recipes. So anyway, scrolling down, I mean, there's all these little videos on how you can learn more, but you can scroll to the bottom and you can see the collections here. So you can actually go see more. Now you can see we've got obviously some Christmas cheer happening with our sweet and savory Christmas, but you could scroll. Baby and toddlers a new one as well, which there's been heaps more recipes added in terms of baby foods and things like that. But you know, most people again will just use the vegetables and the things that they would already be doing, but making the baby food in the thermos just makes it so much easier. So yeah, you can scroll by cookbook or collection is what it's called, or you can go by recipe. Okay, so you can see there the star ratings. All right, so if you wanted to rate a recipe, you would just go into it. I'll just show you what to do now. And you actually just click on the stars here and you can rate it if you've made it. But in terms of filtering through, because there is like over 68,000 recipes on here. And, you know, you don't want to be limited to just the Australian recipes, because there are a lot of other English-speaking countries that have produced some really amazing recipes obviously as well, and different cuisines. So what you want to do, your filters, you can save them as a default. Obviously you can see Australia was selected there, which means they're only going to be recipes from Australia. So I can unselect that, which I'll show you how to do. But here is where you can fine tune too. So you might know that you've got to cook, you know, after work one night and you've got like half an hour to get something on the table. So you want to choose something with a really low prep time and a really low total cook time. So the prep time is how much you actually need to be standing in the kitchen, whether it be at the Thermomix or, you know, doing some things by hand. And then the total times, obviously the total recipe start to finish. But you can choose your portions, and we've got an incredible feature now where you can scale recipes. So you might have your favorite recipe that serves like 6, and you only need it to serve 2. So you can scale that down and it'll adjust the quantities of things so that you can make it for 2 people. Again, star rating, it's good to stick to the ones with a high star rating in the beginning and just kind of get the good recipes. But then be mindful that we all have different tastes, and sometimes a really low rated recipe is still really amazing. It's just that it wasn't someone's cup of tea. So yeah, what was I getting at here? Yeah, so we don't want Australia clicked, we actually want English clicked. And then just get rid of the country, and it'll bring up all of the English recipes that you want. And you can go by category. So if you're looking to make a dinner, you can do that. You can do, say, main dishes meat. Like I know you guys, eat just sort of meat and veggies and things like that. So let's just have a look at what that brings up for a moment. And then what you want to do is you want to type in here differently, like obviously the type of protein that you're wanting to use and eat, or you might have something specific in mind, like a meatloaf or something like that. I don't know if you guys eat meatloaf, but I'm gonna get my keyboard's been playing on. So if I type in meatloaf, there's a fair few on here, obviously from different countries too, one with different sauces, all sorts of stuff, but there's kind of fancier ones, standard ones, prosciutto wrapped ones, all that sort of thing. So you can click here. I'm just gonna pause. I'm going to power through this with this baby. But yeah, you can essentially just click what one takes your fancy. You might go into it, see what's in, the ingredients list are. But let's go, say you were like, okay, this is a 4.8 star rated one. I'm going to make that. You click on these dots, you say add to my week. Let's say I'm going to make it tomorrow night for dinner, save. Now, if you're making that tomorrow night, you also want to add it to your shopping list. Okay, so I've added that. Then you might feel like you want something like chicken one night this week as well. Oh, using my wrong keyboard. My MacBook's broken. Okay, so we've got different chicken options here. We still have how many? Yeah, 660 to go through there, right? That's a lot. So again, you might want to put your filters on and maybe just do your 5 stars. Yeah. So that's brought it down to 62 results. Okay, so you've got southern style chicken, you've got all sorts of stuff, you've got grilled things. Yes, maybe you've got chicken curries and different stuff like that, Indian. Yeah, maybe. I gave her a nice poll, but it kept her preoccupied for like 5 minutes. This family chicken galette pie has rave reviews. I know a lot of my customers love it. Or you might just go some skewers and it might help you make up a marinade for those. So obviously you're not going to cook the skewers in the Thermomix, you'll use them on the barbecue. So you could choose what you want to hear. I'll just do the pie because I know that that's a favourite. So we'll put that on Wednesday night. Hang on, puppy. Hang on. My Thermomix is beeped too, so I can show you guys that. Bubby. I'm going to just show you guys. So I've added that to the week. Hold on, honey. Do you want to pee? So I've added it to the shopping list. I've added it to the week. You can see where I'm going with this. Make it your own, obviously. The crown roast of lamb, that kind of looks good too. So while we've got that open, I'm going to add that to later in the week. Doesn't really matter. We'll do it like, I don't know, Thursday or Friday. Again, adding it to my shopping list. My laptop's just had a fit. There we go. It's gone into it. Add into... My internet's having a hard time. Hopefully this isn't too... My sound's not too changed. Come on, internet. All right, add to shopping list. We're almost there. Okay, so then we're going to go to show shopping list. Now I've got a bunch of other stuff in here that I know I've already made and I haven't cleared. So I think it's going super slow. Let me close down this tab. Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to go through and click anything you've already got in the fridge or the freezer, okay, or in the pantry. So herbs and like olive oil and all that sort of stuff. Get rid of those by just checking these little boxes. And then when you're happy and satisfied with your list, you might want to add on, I can get rid of these. I made this shortbread already. You might want to add in additional items. Like I've got a bunch of stuff here that I kind of like, I know I need to buy, and it's my reminder. Like I use this as my shopping list now instead of having written notes that I lose or things like that. I also have one on the fridge as like a visual thing, but I don't use it very often. So if you're happy with adding all these other items that you've got in, all you do is you go to order ingredients. Yeah, hot. That bit's not hot though. Okay, and then, oh, why is it doing that in my location? Okay. I think this may be down. I vaguely remember getting an email about it yesterday. Oh, that's a bit frustrating. Okay, I can't show you how it works, but essentially, once it's back up and running again, all it does is it shows you Woolworths, so it takes you straight to the Woolworths website. I don't know if you guys have ever done click and collect before, but it's incredible because it finds the same products over in your Woolies, obviously, the website there. And if they don't have anything in stock, it lets you know. You know, you do just have to make sure that the quantities and everything are right. I've very rarely seen it add too much or whatnot, but it basically just picks everything, and you can swap out for brands that you are preferring. So, you know, I might get you a, you know, the home brand kind of thing, or the Woolworths brand, and you might want to get, you know, a better quality one or something like that. So by all means, I wonder if I've changed my store selection. Yeah, that's like an incredible asset, especially if you've got kids and you're time poor and you know that you just have to swing past the supermarket and do the click and collect. You don't have to walk the aisles. It's saving you so much time. You know, who doesn't want to have more time to do the things that they want to do? Play with their kids, you know, read, have your other hobbies, play sports, exercise, whatever it is. We just all would love to have more time in our day and have more energy in the day to be able to do the things that we want to do. So utilizing this is incredible. So you can see my week. What is it? This? Yeah. No, that's mummy's. I don't want you opening those tablets. But so in my week, it'll show you obviously what you've got planned for each day. You can show in a calendar view as well, a different view where it kind of gives you a drop down. It loads for me. Yeah, about a bit like that. I haven't actually programmed stuff recently, but yeah, so you can see and you can have it laid out. You know, you can maybe, if you're someone who is a fridge person as well, then write that on your fridge, what you're having each night as well, so you're not having to open up a device. But by all means, it is just saving you that brain space, so you know exactly what you're doing, and you could have your partner come home from work before you and start dinner, and they know exactly what we're making because it's programmed, it's in the machine. So these automatically sync, the Thermomix and Cookidoo, and yeah. And yeah, it's just so simple. The technology is incredible. So I'm going to see if I can put this baby down. I'm going to put them there, honey. And we're going to add in our frozen peas.